Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho. Hey, it's crazy. 16 years since he was first appointed as the manager of Real Madrid back, I think it's 2020. No, 2010, sorry, 2020. 2010, he was appointed the Real Madrid manager. That was during the period of the Barcelona dominance. We remember that Pep Guardiola. I think we all remember the finger in the eye thing that, you know what I mean? I know we keep it under wraps. We try to keep it under wraps, but hey, it happened. That was one of the best, if well, let me not say one of the best. It was, in my opinion, the best era of just football brilliance. Obviously, Barcelona, being who they kind of were, but they needed the competition regardless. Do you get what I'm saying? You're only as good as the teams that you beat ultimately, right? If everybody's rubbish and you're just better than them, then fairs. But there were a lot of good teams. We saw Inter Milan with Jose Mourinho winning the treble. Manchester United, the Chelseas, they were absolutely strong, during that kind of period. But obviously, Barcelona were at the top, and Real Madrid were also there. They were very, very, they were just a solid team. They were a very, very solid team. And I felt like if it wasn't for the fact that Barcelona were Barcelona, I do feel like maybe Real Madrid would have won a few more things, especially during Jose Mourinho's kind of time there as well. So it's proper. It's one of those things. It's just kind of one of those things. But obviously, we've seen the news, and I think quite a few people have seen it. It looks like, and again, nothing's been confirmed as of right now. So this is all just, maybes, but it looks like they've opened up the negotiations for him to leave Benfica and join Real Madrid in 2026 this summer. Whether he joins now, or should I say before the World Cup or after it, doesn't really matter. It looks like anyway he's going to be the manager. And I think it's going to be mad interesting. And this ain't even a look. I think when he gets appointed, we can look at the tactical side and what he can kind of bring. And, I'll do another video focusing solely on the kind of tactical side and what he brings now in 2026 that might be a little bit different to what he brought to the team back in 2010 when he was obviously a lot more younger. We're talking, what, 16 years. Do you get what I mean? So, it's a long time ago and he was still in his pomp. He was still regarded. And he's a legend now, but I wouldn't regard him as like one of the best managers out there, kind of thing. I think it's more about his legendary status, which is kind of probably why a team like Real Madrid, especially how big they are, they would be looking at him because they've tried to go down the route of a Jabi Alonso, start the project and everything like that. Didn't really work out. Obviously, they've got Arbeloa now, who's the interim kind of coach, but again, he's just not. It's Real Madrid at the end of the day. You need someone with a bit more gravitas, and I think with the whole madness that's going on at Real Madrid, you got players fighting each other. You got players who seemingly are. Let me not say they don't want to play in El Clasicos, but it's looking a bit fishy. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about star players here. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think one of the major things for me when it comes to Real Madrid, and listen, look, I'm a Barcelona fan at the end of the day, so they are major rivals. But when I look at them, they're not going down the Manchester United route just yet, and I don't feel like they would be able to go down that kind of route. I don't feel like they can get that low just because of the kind of dynamics in Spain anyway. I don't think they would go 13 years, 14, 15 years without winning a league title or a Champions League. But it's becoming a bit of I want to say sad state, but even when, because they only recently just won the La Liga and the Champions League, you know what I mean? We're not talking, this was 6-7 years ago. They only just in the last, 2 to 3 seasons, I think it was, when they did win it. Jude Bellingham obviously coming in, brilliant signing for them and etc. etc. It just seems though that like, I don't know what it's like. It's something is going wrong and I don't know how they're going to fix it. And I actually think appointing Jabi Alonso and then whatever you want to call it, mutual agreement, him deciding to leave, whatever it was, right? I feel like that's pushed them back now. Where they, Carlo Ancelotti, legendary manager, again, him leaving, and then it's like, okay, we're starting a new chapter. For them to go to a manager like Jose, I just feel like that's almost pushing you back a bit. Now, what Jose probably will be able to do is he might be able to help to steady the ship until whoever that next manager, or whoever they deem it to be, comes in, and then they can kind of take them into the future. I'm just looking at Madrid now, and I'm just thinking to myself, excuse me, it's just a little bit, it's just something ain't right. something ain't right. Listen, they're still the biggest club side in the world. Players would still clearly would love to play for them. They've got star players in the team. They're a star club. So to look at the team now, and it's like you just can't really put your finger on it, at this current moment in time. Is it just we're in a new kind of age? And, I've heard that Florentino Perez, apparently he said some stuff, he said some things, and he's kind of brushed that a bit under the carpet. But again, ultimately, you don't get to be someone like him without understanding how the game kind of works, right? But just forget even the players fighting each other. I'm just looking at the team in general, and it just seems like it reminds me so much of that Galactico era that we did have: Zidane, Figo, Beckham, Ronaldo, Michael Owen, obviously thrown in there, the Raúls, and top players. I'm talking some of the best players on planet Earth. I mean, you got like what, 3 or 4 Ballon d'Or winners, if not more, in one team. I don't know any team that could ever boast that, having so many Ballon d'Or winners in one team. That's an achievement in itself, right? But it didn't really work on the pitch though. You can have all these players, you can have all these talented guys and all these Ballon d'Or winners, but it's just not really working. Now, fast forward now to 2026, they're almost going through the same thing. The difference is you ain't got all these Ballon d'Or, well, you ain't got any Ballon d'Or winners, in your team. So I'm looking at the team and I'm just like, I just really don't know what it is. Like that is, it should just be a foregone conclusion. When they won the Champions League, recently, I thought it's gonna be peak. It's gonna be peak, man. If they put their finger on the pulse, it is going to get long. And once it gets long at a club like Real Madrid, everybody else might as well just chill. Just get your popcorn out, just chill, enjoy the ride, because we don't even know when this could end. When you've got players like Jude Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Valverde, now getting in Mbappe, got Vinicius Juniors. Like when you've got all of these kind of players who are not old, and you're looking at it thinking, yeah, it almost seems they've done everything well. And I think that's also the baffling thing for me is they've done everything well. You know, Tony Cruz, Luka Modric, you get them kind of guys, Casemiro, they're phased out. Guess who comes in? The Camavingas, the Tchouaménis, the Valverdes, the Bellinghams. Like you just think it should just be seamless. So I'm looking at it now and I'm like, I don't really get it. I really listen. Bad seasons. They've had a couple now, to be fair. And for a club like Real Madrid, obviously they know, and Real Madrid fans, obviously they voiced their opinion in terms of just how poor they've kind of been, especially losing to Barcelona now, La Liga twice now. So they've not really been putting up a good kind of showing, if I'm being totally honest. But it just feels like something isn't right, and I always wonder with Real Madrid, right? As much as we can admire them and we can all understand that they are the biggest club side in the world, and that they are who they are, I just almost feel like, what is your kind of philosophy? Like, and when I say philosophy, I'm not talking necessarily even like from a club perspective. I'm just more looking at it from like a footballing perspective. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to do? Because, like I said, obviously, look, the Javi thing, Javi Alonso thing, maybe it just couldn't be avoided just because of the dynamics of it. Whatever, I guess we'll never really and truly know until I guess such time someone decides to bring out a book, talking about the whole situation. But that was where I thought you was going to enter into a new era. Should they have kept Jabby? I think they should, but again, like I said, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know if he just genuinely said, I just want to leave because I just can't work under these kind of conditions." Again, I don't really want to do too much speculating behind all of that. But I just feel like once that didn't work, if you're going to bring in someone like Jose Mourinho, I mean, he's obviously knows the club. He understands who Real Madrid are. He is of the level of a Real Madrid in terms of the equivalency, because he's a legendary star manager. How he's going to be in today's game, we'd have to obviously, if he comes in, we'd have to wait and see, and we could look at it from that kind of perspective later. But I'm just like, okay, you get a Mourinho in. Again, I don't know how long that contract would be. Is it just going to be a short-term deal? If so, okay, fair enough. And again, maybe it is just to steady the ship. Get someone who everybody immediately respects and takes no bullshit from anybody, doesn't give a hell who you are, whether you're Mbappe, Vinicius, to Ceballos. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm Jose fucking Mourinho at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You're going to listen to me. And if you don't want to listen, that's calm. No worries. Guess what? You're on a bench. You can cry to your agent. I don't care about your agent. You know what I mean? I don't care about all of that. Like, this is how it's gonna go down. But at the same time, we're dealing with a different set of footballers now. We're not dealing with the footballers of yesteryear. We're not even dealing with footballers that he managed during his time here at Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? Like he was dealing with the Sergio Ramoses, the Özils, the Ronaldos and stuff like that. These are guys who it was just a different era back then. It really was just a different kind of era, and it was a different kind of football that was being played back then. Now you're coming into almost, in my opinion, the soft kind of era where players moan very quickly about certain things, and there's leaks every 2 seconds, and obviously it's a big club like Real Madrid, so these leaks are going to be accentuated tenfold, and all of these kind of various different things. And I look back to his time at Manchester United because I look there and I think to myself, that was a time where listen, he came second in the Premier League, and I think he won a European trophy. I want to say, but I can't fully remember. But even still, I look back at his time at Manchester United, and he had the likes of like the Paul Pogbas. I can't remember if he had Zlatan during that period of time, but he Jesse Lingard, I believe, I think during that period of time. And I think back during that period of time, dealing with those kind of players, that kind of generation of player. And it was kind of like, you're rubbing people up the wrong kind of way. I almost feel like that era is kind of here in a little bit. It's just worse now, in my opinion, in terms of the type of people that these kind of players seem to be. How do you deal with that? How is that going to work moving forward? Are you going to be able to deal with the kind of egos that are here? When I say egos, because I know people immediately like, oh, but he dealt with Ronaldo, and as I said, Sergio Ramos, Pepe, and all these kind of guys. Yes, they were a different type of ego, though. Their ego, I feel like, was always fueled via, there was always a common goal, almost. As much as they have their egos, there was still that common kind of goal, right? Whereas with these guys, I don't feel like it's always like that. And this isn't just for Real Madrid, this is for footballers in general. I just feel like the ego of some of these top players, it's a lot different than it probably used to be, kind of thing. So I'm just wondering, how does he deal with it? I'm not saying he can't deal with it. I'm not saying he's whatever. It's just more, I'm intrigued to see if he was to come in, how does that look now? You know what I mean? Like, what does that look like for Jose Mourinho in 2026 managing at a team like Real Madrid? Do you, again, it's not about the tactical side. It's just more the other side of things. I'm going to be intrigued to see how he kind of deals with that, and if he's able to kind of succeed in that kind of area, because as I say, Real Madrid for me have just been, I just feel like they've kind of just lost their way in recent times, especially if that's going to be how things are going to go. How does he get a player like Mbappe and Vinicius? How does he get those two playing together properly, to thrive? I mean, I feel like they're thriving almost individually, almost. It's weird. Like Mbappe's still scoring bare goals. I mean, Vinicius still, does his thing as well, but they're not thriving together. How does he get those two to work? Again, we'd have to kind of wait and see. But yeah, like I say, it's been a very, very long time since Mourinho was obviously at Real Madrid, should I say, sorry, and at Chelsea, to be fair. But will he be able to almost reignite that kind of passion? Can he bring back some of that? He's going to need to draw from what he remembers from his time at Real Madrid, and the sheer fact of the understanding of who Real Madrid actually are, what the fans expect, and what is actually expected. He's going to need to draw from that. And he's going to need to be able to, then articulate that to his players. Will he be able to do that in a way that's going to be conducive to the players? We'll have to wait and see, man. We really will have to wait and see. But Madristas, let me know. Let me know. How are you feeling if Mourinho, again, nothing's been confirmed at the time of this video, right? If he is to be confirmed as the manager, how do you feel about it? Do you want him to come back? Do you want someone else? Is there other managers on your short list? Again, this manager merry-go-round in the summer, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I think we're going to maybe see potentially some shocking stuff. We're going to see some intriguing stuff. We're going to see some stuff where we're like, ooh, didn't think you would go there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, people, and I'll catch you guys real soon.